Building a business is hard work, and you guys have worked really hard to be successful. One little thing that you didn't plan for, one little risk that you didn't know about can ruin everything you've worked so hard to build. I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen with commercial general liability insurance, workers' comp, and the other lines of insurance that can protect your business. I'm Scott Gibbons, commercial insurance agent here at Miller & Miller Insurance Agency. So commercial insurance, it insures a lot of different types of businesses, from professionals, think doctors' offices, lawyers, real estate agents, anybody who does consulting. We have general liability that covers the bodily injury and property damage that you could inflict on yourself and on others. Property insurance, workers' comp. There's so many different aspects to insurance, and I think understanding what your individual risks and exposures are is tremendously important. If you're a plumber, what are those risks that we're doing? Are we doing outside plumbing? Are we doing inside plumbing? Are we doing service? Are we doing commercial? Are we doing backflow testing? All these things have to be taken into account because each kind of activity has its own risk and exposures that need to be covered. It also helps us to classify and figure out how much premium you're going to pay. And sometimes we can send you to a different carrier that really likes this exposure, but maybe doesn't like this one. All these are designed to make sure that you get the most out of your insurance. The second thing that I think is really important and a lot of people overlook, and maybe it's because, and I think it's because they don't understand insurance. I do it every day. I don't expect my clients to. Conditions, limitations, and exclusions. Those can really turn a good policy into a bad one very quickly. Let me give a real life example of a client who was a roofing contractor. When we had our first meeting, I took a look at his insurance and I saw a roofing exclusion in his policy. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Didn't make a lot of sense to him. And there was an amendment to the exclusion that gave him $50,000 in coverage for a sublimit. So this is a man who was paying for a $1 million policy who only had $50,000 in coverage because he didn't understand his exclusion and he didn't have an agent that explained it to him. So all these conditions and limitations and things can really affect your exposures and risks and leave you very vulnerable to a lawsuit, to an accident that, man, you thought you were covered for, but turns out you're not. That's where the third most important part of insurance comes into play, and that's having a really good agent. Not just the kind of guy that's great to talk to or maybe fun to golf with, but somebody who understands your business, asks a lot of questions. I had a client when I first started come to me and say, "You know, Scott, that other guy didn't ask me all these questions. This is really annoying." And I looked at him and said, "Doesn't that kind of bother you? You got your insurance written by somebody who doesn't know your business." And that's why I had a lot of conditions and exclusions that didn't work. I recently had a prospect come in with a horror story. He had a very expensive service truck in the $200,000 range. He got the truck totaled, not his fault. He was offered a check for $32,000 because his agent did not let the carrier know that there was permanently attached equipment on the truck. These little things that mean so little to check a box to inform the carrier about what's really going on are so important. As somebody who owns a business who needs commercial insurance, I implore you, talk to your agent. Go agent shopping. Don't go insurance shopping. Because if they're good, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to get to know your business. They're going to make sure you don't have those exclusions and limitations that nullify the insurance in the first place. I can't stress enough how important that is. And if you want a really, really good agent, come see me at Miller & Miller Insurance Agency. Give me a call, send me a text. I'll be there.